What's up, fight fans? Your boy P. Welsh here, bringing to you UFC Fight Night, Cejudo versus Song, coming off 8-4 week. We starting off in the light heavyweight division with Modayas Bukakas versus Rafael Kakuria. 16-6 Bukakas against Kakuria 11-1. Coming off a 1-minute finish against Aslan, who's fighting later in the card. Bukakas is had a recovery fight. It was a win against Procino, he's not that strong, late round finish, and uh I think he can get another win here. I don't have much faith in Kerr Korea. I mean, I think he just got finished so fast. Like, it always worries about me, those guys with those glass chins. Like, he definitely is like mirrors me, Brendanson Hibario. So I'm just gonna take Bukakis here. I think he's just more technical, stronger, more durable, more experienced, and I think that overall is gonna play a bigger dividend in a 3-round fight. It probably wouldn't be the most exciting fight. I can definitely see though a late round finish somewhere in here. I don't know if Korea has the chin for the light heavyweight division. He looks like somebody that could probably even slim down to 185, especially the way that they operate these days with the big cuts. So that might be an option for him after this. I know 6'3". The metrics are pretty similar. I just like the experience that uh Bukakis has, and I think he's just kind of rounding into form, and I think he'll just have a better performance. I think he'll win probably unanimously on the judges scorecard. He'll take a little damage, he'll give a lot of damage, and he's gonna, I think, hunt for that 3rd round finish, something like that. Let's go, Bukakis, starting us off strong. Next in the middleweight division, we got a rising prospect, Mansour Abdul Malik versus Nick Klein. 7-0 Abdul Malik versus Klein, making his UFC debut. Both guys fresh off the Contender Series, and big betting favorite for Abdul Malik, and he probably should finish Klein within the 1st round. I'd honestly be pretty surprised if Klein did anything more than that. There's always a chance that he can win and prove us all wrong. This is the fight game, but in just terms of probably why the matchup is being made is kind of something I expect Abdul Malik to shine in this kind of situation. Again, somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience, somebody that's like, contender pretender. You just got to catch him once, get him in a bad position. He doesn't have that escapability that, when the emergency lights click on when you get hit, when you have when you've been training for so long versus somebody just kind of making their debut. Abdul Malik spot all day. Probably shorter than what I talked about. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to the bantamweight division, we got Ricky Simon, 20-6, coming off a loss to make that 4 straight losses, versus Javid Basharat, 14-1, coming off a loss. Tough loss to Zahabi, but another tough fighter with Ricky Simon here, and he needs a win. Bro's desperate on like 5 straight losses, 4 straight losses, and Basharat coming off a loss is really going to need a win. Got outclassed by Zahabi in his first. Don't get his brother mixed up with Javid. There's 2 Basharat brothers. That being said, I don't think Simon can handle the control that Javid's going to bring in terms of being able to take him down. Now, will he be able to hold him down? I don't know. I always kind of thought he's a little more slender for the bantamweight division. He is 5'9", but we see some tall bantamweights in there too. So, maybe he is coming down from featherweight. Actually, I should go look that up for a Basharat. Because Zahabi is feather. No, he's a bantamweight. He cuts down the 135 for sure because he cracked into those. And I mean, Ricky needs one more than anybody else. I mean, I don't know if they let him go after this. Oh, one of those was a karate. So he's only off 3 straight losses. And, Sadong 5-rounder, Batista. I think they're really high on Ricky Simon here. And I think he's got a great chance to actually take it home today. Or this weekend, I should say. He's got to be able to handle the wrestling. It's kind of like I had a bad read with Petrosky last week, and it's just like sometimes the opponents just can't handle the wrestling as much as you might think they can do or can't do. It's like sometimes they just can't do better than that against somebody that's at just that high of a level, right? And I think Basharat's just at that high of a level where he'll just be able to control the fight, do enough damage, and I think his IQ is super. I think his reactions are super. I think he's got just an incredible counterpunch takedown, be able to read the fight and the flow of it. I think that's why Basharat's a big-time prospect, was big-time favorite. He lost to a freaking absolute killer in Zahabi, man. My guy's not in there afraid to sling it. He's technically sound, and I think while Simon presents a lot of similarities, I just don't think he's at that high of a level. I think he'll be able to contend for a round, maybe steal a second, but I think Basharat will get enough to get it in the third. I like Basharat by decision here. Still a very close fight and I think Simon can definitely even take one of the judges' scorecards as well. Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Go to the welterweight division here. Let's see. Adam Fugit versus Billy Ray Golf. Fugit, thank you for letting us see that. UFC, always the best website. Where's my guy? They got him up there? They canceled this fight? So Fugit withdrew. So no Fugit here. Let's go to Touchy Feely and Malaquaz Acosta. I literally put that on the books this morning. Feely 24-11 coming off a win versus Costa 21-7 coming off a win. Dude, if you watch the videos, I must do that so much where I say the loss at the last number in the win. Actually happens too much. Feely versus Cortez. Feely coming off a win, but not the best performances. Let me take a look at Andre. I know he lost to, Dan Ige was the other guy I was thinking of. Dan Ige and Rob Font remind me of one another. That's who it is. Lucas Almeida win, which was the Nate Wood. I just have a tough time rallying behind Andre Feely, right? I really do. It's just tough. It's just I like him a lot as a fighter, but some of his performances makes it really hard to back him in a pick'em situation like this. And I just feel like Costa's kind of a little bit hungrier. Now, he's definitely fallen on his face in some of his fights that I've seen him fight. But I mean, I think he's also the competition he's lost to is high-end competition. Now, maybe not Thiago Moises, but like I don't think Touchy Feely touches moves like Moises would, but Steve Garcia is a brick house, man. It's no anybody getting finished by Steve Garcia is pretty worthy finish. You know what I mean? That's just kind of what he does. So that being said, I kind of like Costa here. I think it's going to be a close fight, and it's kind of like one of those things that I think it's really close because people are going to want to root for Feely, and he's kind of a fan favorite. But at the end of the day, I think Costa's a little bit more clean. He's more clean, hungry, and I think he's gonna want it a little bit more. I think he's got that finishing ability where Feely kind of have to point you there, and I think at the end of the day he'll get figured out. Like he doesn't really have that third round gas tank. It's not something he's known for. You know what I mean? So just one of those guys. Like he's not one that I have the high confidence pick in a close fight. I'm gonna go with Costa here. Definitely one that's gonna. Hopefully we see a finish. I like both the guys a lot. I've rooted and picked for both of them in many of their fights. So to see them going against one another, it's a little bittersweet, and it's kind of hard to like nitpick where you want to what do you want to hedge on? Like I don't want to go pick Andre and then him just kind of lay an egg in there, and my guy Costa look clean, beat him up, and that's my guy. So that's why I'm kind of going for Costa here, just because I think he's got more of a chance and a better win condition. So that being said, I got Costa over Feely. Moving on to the feature prelim, Nurstaloin Ruzaboyev, 34-9-2, coming against Eric Maikonoko. I don't know, Maikono. Making his debut, and man, I don't know how you're making your debut against Ruzaboyev. Like, what kind of is he that big of a killer? I don't know. We're about to see something here. Nurstaloin coming off the loss to Buckley, but I mean Buckley put on an absolute clinic on him, dude. Just doing absolute damage. Is Mikono good? I'm not even gonna say it, dude. This is Ruzaboyev. I'm not even gonna break down this fight that much because I picked Ruzaboyev. This guy's on a 5-fight winning streak, 6 foot. He's at a massive height disadvantage. I just can't believe they're not going to give Ruzaboyev a freaking cupcake after going against Buckley kind of on short notice and kind of getting beat up. I think Nurstaloin has a chance to really ascend up the middleweight rankings this year, and I think he gets an easy first round, second round sub. He's pretty damn dominating. I don't understand why they're feeding this guy to him. I don't understand why he's only a minus 300 favorite. I really just think that Yeah, it's only his fourth UFC fight, but I think that loss to Buckley, sometimes you get good value. You're going to be able to get somebody. You're going to get Ruzaboyev, and I think he's one of the best fighters in the world. I think he's super underrated. I think he's moving up to middleweight. Maybe that was it too. Like he was at welterweight for Buckley fight. Now he's moving up to middleweight, which could be even nastier if he doesn't have to. Look at Poetan. As soon as he pumps up to 205, he becomes unbeatable again. So, see what happens there, right? They got this scheduled at 185. Should be exciting. First one for Ruzaboyev at 185, maybe coming in on short notice. Nope, nothing like that going on. Should be exciting. Ruzaboyev spot all day, baby. Next, going on to the main card, Atomic Alonzo Menefield, 15-5-1, coming off a loss to Olberg versus his debutant Julius Walker, 25 years old, holding a 6-0 record, 4 KOs, 2 submissions, fighting Alonzo Menefield in his debut. And man, I like Menefield and I've rooted for him, but he's got to go down here. Like, I got to be on Julius Walker. Like, again, it's one of those things that, like, as much as you want to have confidence, as much as you've been following Menefield here, I'm not just gonna go in there and just pick him to win. Like, I really do think Julius Walker has a chance to touch the chin and just out cardio. I mean, Menefield's not one that has a great gas tank. He is massive. That is the one thing about Menefield, is he's massive for 205. He's so strong. So I just don't think he really has this. Just again, that gas tank is freaking. It's a V12, dude. It just goes out in the mid-second round, dude. He just, lost to Mirzakhanov, too, and got pretty whooped. This is another spot where I just think he can take another whooping for a guy that's faster, cleaner, coming in there, going out there at plus money. I really do like Julius Walker against Alonzo Menefield. It's Menefield's pushing 40, dude. He's just, 37. Dude, actually, we got to look at some of these freaking dates, because I could have sworn my man was way older than 37. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. My ages get tripped up sometimes, but still 37. No spring chicken for Menefield. Coming off a loss to Olberg, not a big spot where I like him. Go Julius Walker. Next up in the light heavyweight division, Ayo Cutelaba versus Aibo Aslan. Cutelaba 18-10-1, coming off a win against Aslan, 14-1, making his second fight in the UFC, coming off the win against the guy in the opening fight. And man, I don't know how you can pick Cutelaba here. Saying that, he's probably gonna come up there and snatch a win from all of us. But dude, he's just not somebody that you want to have confidence in light heavyweight versus sometimes he fights middleweight. So I got to take Aslan by KO here. Like Cutelaba, he might put on a veteran performance. It might be one of those pretender things. Like when you get into the fight, it's like way closer than what it is. And the odds are actually thinking that it's not as big as a blowout as I think it is in my fight. Because in my mind, Aslan is going to starch Cutelaba, and I don't even think it's that close. The odds are even saying that Cutelaba makes it a competitive fight, which I think there's some potential for some points. But I just think at some point, Aslan turns it on, and he just hits him with a combo, puts him on the ground, gets him against the fence, 1, 2, 3 on his face and his back, and Cutelaba's out of there. Probably cut from the UFC too. I just think sometimes like just the trajectory of your careers means a lot, and I think Aslan is just coming in there, and I think he's a freaking bull in a china shop, dude. Cutelaba has just had a long, back to with the Ankalaevs 5 years ago. He's not exactly, again, he is a spring chicken, 31 too. He should just be coming into his prime. So that's why I have a lot of expectations for him in this fight. But I'm not going to get tripped up with his performances recently. He hasn't really shown me anything. If he comes in there and tries to take down Aslan and gets it done, just throws me something that I've never seen before, I mean, yeah, maybe he can definitely get a win. Like, there's definitely like potential for things as well. But like, is my guy clean in there? Absolutely not. Does he make mistakes? Absolutely. Can he get caught? Absolutely. Does he? Absolutely. I got Aslan here. Buy it. This fight's not happening. Rob Font versus Gene Matsumoto. We got a catchweight coming in here on short notice, probably about 145. They got Matsumoto at a 200 favorite on one of the other books. Robbie Font, and I think it's a good spot for Font when he's. I wonder how this fight plays out. Is it going to be Matsumoto early, and does he get able to get a finish, get a squeeze in there, and leverage a position and get a submission? Because he's very explosive when he's working onto those positions. Is Font going to be strong enough to hand fight and be experienced enough not to get caught in a submission? I think that's kind of where it lingers a little bit. Kind of something more like the Zala, where you're like not super impressed with them, but like, yo, like you don't have to impress the fights. I mean, yeah, you should be trying to, but like sometimes the guy you're fighting is really damn tough and he's really damn good, and you have to make put yourself at risk, which is not necessarily the best fighting strategy. So I expect something like that from Matsumoto. I definitely think he can squink a finish in there too. The later it goes, the leverage he gets. You know, again, it's the same thing with Rob Font. He's not one of those guys I expect to have a gigantic gas tank. I think this fight's coming in a little bit on short notice. So let's see what really happens. I think Matsumoto's an up and comer. He's one of my favorite. I want to say he was a bantamweight. I should go check my index card. But you know, I think this is a Matsumoto spot. Now I definitely can see Robbie coming in there and giving him that better veteran performance, and that's kind of been the status quo on Rob Font in his career. Is like, yo, he stops the contenders and loses to the contenders. You know what I mean? Losses to Cheeto, Aldo, Sandhagen, Figueiredo, all title contenders, and then beating the likes of Phillips, which is an absolute onslaught. Which like makes me think I should pick Rob Font here again, because like beating Kyler Phillips like that was an embarrassment in a way. And no shame against Kyler Phillips. Maybe but I think that just shows how tough it is to go against Rob Font, and that's how much I'm underselling and undervaluing here. I think there's a lot of favorites that could do pretty well here on this card, especially towards the end of the fight card, because I think they're way more evens. I think all these fights are way more even than they are plus whatever money is. So I think that's another opportunity that if you're on the Rob Font side, if you're on the, go against me, is like, I think that's an opportunity because Matsumoto's the straight contender that Rob Font beats, right? He's nobody's proven and established. So see what happens here. I like Matsumoto. I'm going to take him. I like the potential, but like I said, I could definitely see myself being like, dang, Rob Font's a G. Why did I pick against him? And I kind of feeling like that. I almost want to do the reversal, but I'm not. I'm just going to stop there, and we're going to take the loss if it comes. Move on, ladies and gentlemen. We got a few more fights to break down. Got Gene Lord Silva versus Melise Baghashardarian. Gene Silva, massive favorite, minus 575 against Melsick, 8-2 versus 14-2. And I mean, we're all Gene Lord Silva fans. It's at 145. I think this is the weight that he absolutely bashes at, but I don't think this is a walk in the park. I don't think he gets a finish. I think this is going to take a lot of damage. This guy's going to be pretty tough. Now, 3 canceled fights, trying to get to a fight on the next calendar year. I don't know what's been going on with him. And but like a Muay Thai fighter against Lord Silva is going to present a lot of damage. I can see him winning the first round. Just throwing volume. You know what I mean? It's gonna, and this is why I think Gene Lord Silva is gonna win the fight. Because like once it gets turned into a street fight, that gangster is gonna come out of him, man. My guy is just, I think he's got a different gear than even some of the other fighting ability to turn it on, right? I think the other guys are also so technically gifted, but I think he's got one of those, like, I don't want to call it the favela, and like, I'm not saying none of those other guys don't, because I don't know shit about those other guys, but just when I seen him turn it on in a couple of the fights that he just finished, man, it was different, dude. Fighting through the broken hands against Drew Dober is nothing. Finishing Charles Jourdain. I mean, Weston Wilson was not necessarily a walk in the park, but I mean, this could be a coming out party. And I think it could be a late round finish for Gene Silva. It might be one of those where he could be like, yo, dude, it's 1-1. It's close on the card. And he gets a finish in the third. He might even be able to hit like a freaking Gilly or something, bro. But my thing about Silva is he does massive damage. I don't know how many people hit. He reminds me of freaking Josh Emmett, the way that he absolutely does damage onto people in the featherweight. It's like it's so crazy, and it's only been 3 finishes. So let's see what happens. I think Melsick has a great chance to make it a nasty fight to tire out Silva. Is he going to be able to generate that power late in the round that I'm thinking that he's going to have? Let's see what happens. I got Gene Silva here, man. I've been on him the whole way. If Bagsharayan gets the win here, I'll be very excited to see it. He just doesn't have a lot of experience, but that also means he's going to be pretty fearless. Those guys tend to win the first round or so, and like I said, let's see if Gene can work in there. Like, I think he can work a takedown, and that's where I think he might even have a little bit of an advantage, right? With the kicks, they'll be studying the fighting nerds. I think it's, the Muay Thai. He's been taken down. He's been finished. It doesn't seem like he has a ground game, and that's why I think a sub is live for Silva too, because he's going to have a lot with him throwing those Muay Thais. He's going to be able to time it, take him down. Like a late round sub for Gene Silva could be massive on the odds. I think it's a possibility. Even like second, third round, I think you want to sprinkle both of them in there. I think he's going to have to. The first round, it could be very close. He could be losing the first round. Like everybody, he lost the first round, and then he finishes him in the second. Something like that. Boom. Let's move on to the co-main event. Brendan Allen versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Allen 24-6 coming off a loss versus Fluffy Hernandez 13-2, and just on an absolute roll here. And great co-main event. Wish it was 5 rounds. I need to see these big boys go at it because it's just too close. These guys are too good. These high-level middleweights, they got to go 5 rounds. They're too good. I'm getting hiccups because I'm talking so fast. Allen off the loss to Imavov. Hernandez steamrolling the division. Kopolov, Pereira, Shabajian, Barriolt finishing. I don't know how you pick against Hernandez here, but I like Allen a lot too. I think Allen can be able to handle him. Man, I don't know. I'm really torn on this fight. I like both these guys. Allen losses to Imavov, Strickland, and Curtis. Does he lose to Hernandez here? I kind of think so. I'm probably going to pick Fluffy here, but I definitely think Allen can win the fight. I definitely think he could finish it. I don't know if he can finish it, but I definitely think he can put another one on his resume, and if he does, it would be massively impressive. I think he's coming in there with a vengeance, and I think this is the best guy Fluffy's going to ever fight, right? Respects to everybody that Hernandez has finished. This is his toughest competition yet. I think he can strike admirably. I think he can deal with the takedowns, and if he makes a mistake, I don't know if anybody's been able to capitalize on a mistake from Hernandez, or if anybody's really been able to force him to make a mistake. He's very physically imposing, very fast and explosive, and that's why I really like him. I think he's like naturally gotten bigger, bulked up, but kept that explosiveness and that speed, and I really think he's hitting his... These guys are both in their prime, bro. 29, 31, 17 fights for Allen in the UFC is insane. We're going on 10 fights for Fluffy. This is an absolute banger, and I think both these gentlemen deserve to be in a co-main event worthy of a 5-round performance. It's hard to pick when it's only 3 rounds, man. That's why I'm going with Hernandez. But it's also like why I think Allen is such a live guy to win this, because I just feel like, man, he's got such the live win condition where he knows where if he can get these guys off balance, make a mistake, and he's fast, explosive to just snatch that in there, man. He don't let it go. But I think Hernandez is a beast mode to match it and can negate it. And boy, man, I don't know, man. This one's tough. I'm going Hernandez. I'm picking Hernandez. But let's see if Allen can get the win. This is nothing against that. I think Allen will lose. This is probably just me picking Hernandez. So if Allen does lose, my fandom doesn't get as hurt. Because if I pick Allen and he does lose, I'm going to be down bad. I am a big fan. But I also just think Hernandez is a freight train, dude. He's he did it in the 5 rounds against Pereira. I know Pereira is not the same level of Imavov, especially off that last finish, but man, I don't know, man. This one's tough. I think Allen could actually win the feet. That's another thing too. Is I actually think Allen could be the guy winning on the feet at some point. But does he lose getting taken down? And does he get an opportunity? Does Hernandez make a mistake? What's this fight looking like, man? I think this is super high level. I think this is an amazing matchup. Both guys incredibly experienced. Both guys incredibly sophisticated on the feet, on the ground, mirror matchup. It's like, who do you kind of like when these things go against one another, right? Man, I don't know, dude. This is a good one. This is a really good one, and I'm gonna go Hernandez here, and I'm just gonna enjoy it. Sit back, relax on Saturday night, and they gave us a doozy on a fight night for a co-main event. This is a super. This is why I think watching week in and week out is so important. This is why I think watching at the start of the card is so awesome because you can see these guys grow, develop. You watch them as main events, you watch them as co-main events, you watch them as prelims, you watch them on UFC cards, you watch them on fight nights, you watch them how they kind of develop and facilitate over the entire. And this is going to be an arena. You know what I mean? This is an arena show, so I think that a lot of these guys are going to want to show out and. Yeah, this is going to be a good card, man. I think this is a super slept on fight night. Absolutely. And Seattle, I think, should show out. Now, maybe it's not the same as what it was when they were winning Super Bowls in 2014, but I think we'll see a lot of blood, a lot of violence, a lot of finishes, a lot of close fights, a lot of good ones. And bringing us to the main event of the evening, Triple C Cejudo versus Song Yadong. 16-4, Cejudo coming off a loss versus Yang Sedong, 21-8-1, coming off the loss to Piotr Jan. No shame in that, dude. And Cejudo coming off the loss. Did he last fight Marab? Not a good recovery, and I just don't know how you pick Cejudo here. Now, I definitely think he's live to get a win. Don't get me wrong. I really do think he presents a lot of potential to give Song a lot of problems, especially in the course of 5 rounds. But is he going to be able to outstrike him? Is he going to be able to hold him down and dominate him for like 4 or 5 rounds? Clearly 3. Is it going to be damn close? I really do think it is. I think Piotr Jan got injured in the first round, lost it, and then had to came back one injured. I just think he's a gangster. I gotta pick Song here. I think Cejudo is live for a big time performance. I really do think he can take him down. I do think he can hold him down. And I just don't want to pick that to happen. I don't want to watch that happen. And if it does happen, whatever. We'll all look like Cejudo staring at the screen if he's winning by like that way, and just gonna go. But it's a Henry Cejudo fight week. He's the main event. It's not exactly everybody's favorite week. Maybe it is to root against him, and that's probably why I'm picking Song. I also think my man is uber talented. He went in there against an absolute killer and took a loss, and there's absolutely no shame in that. I think he's going to be able to turn it on. I think he's got to put on a big-time performance against somebody like this, too, because his losses are against Phillips, Sandhagen, and Jan, certified contenders, and Cejudo is a certified contender. And that's why I think he's actually got an opportunity to win this fight. But 5 rounds, does Henry really get a finish? When was the last time Henry got a finish? You know what I mean? Like Dominic Cruz in 2020. So you know what I mean? It's not like he's, so that's like, it's just like one of those things. Like, is he going to, it's 5 rounds. Is that really where he's built to win right now? I don't think so. I don't even remember if that Marab fight was 3 or 5 rounds, but, it wasn't because it was only 3 rounds. So like when I think about that, like I think Song's got this. I think he'll just do enough to win. I think he's gonna be beat up too. I don't think so. I definitely think Cejudo can win. I just can't pick him. I can't root for him, and I want to root him to get beat up. It's just a personal like fight fan conundrum, and I have all the respect for Henry too. Like I really do. All his wrestling, all his takedown, his background, but sometimes his talking just makes me want to root against him a little bit. And nothing personal. Go Song. I think it's going to be a banging matchup, and I want to see a Henry. I want to hear him talk some shit, bro. Let's get the fans riled up, Henry. Come on, man, come on, dude. Giddy up, dude, because you got to strike, you got to do some damage, you got to take him down. I do think he's going to be able to take him down. I do think he's going to be able to study him up and win some rounds. Like I do think he's going to be highly competitive. I like Cejudo, especially as plus money. Like I think taking some of these certified, grizzled, established champions in fights late in the career as plus money is a solid chance to take. You think about all the guys like Poirier, even though against these like up and comers, like Hermanson, like yo, it is not clear cut that Song is winning this one. So you know what I mean, and like those kind of things, like that's why I really do think I could see Cejudo winning, and I want to talk about it a little bit longer because like how many of those opportunities I got to take a little notebook. I got to start documenting my notes way better because like I got like fight trends and tendencies that you just gotta write down over times. I want to start tracking some split decisions because like I want to see how damn close I am on some of these split decisions. I want to see what percent of fights end in split decision. That might be one of those fights. I can see 48-47, 3 cards. I think this is going to be highly competitive 30 or 25-minute fight and show why these guys are world class. These guys are definitely world class contenders. You know, I don't know if Song could ever become champion. The bantamweight is just full of absolute killers. If it does, it's going to be one of those things where he knocks out the guy, and I don't know if he can hold it, but I mean, maybe he'll prove me wrong, too. He's very young, 31, right? Something probably even younger than that, actually. So, I mean, I got to just pick him there. He's kind of where I want to be, even though he's 27. So he's got a lot of potential to finish up his career strong, even if he does lose to Cejudo here. Um, but it also could be a stepping stone in his championship pedigree, win or lose, right? I think he learned a lot from the Yan fight. I think he gained valuable experience, and I think he's going to come out and be a little bit more specific, precise, and just do enough to win enough. Let's go Song there. Do a little quick recap. That didn't go everybody. Let's go. We're going to go Bukakis here. Abdul Malik, Basharat, canceled fight. Costa, Ruzaboyev, Julius Walker, Aslan, canceled fight. Matsumoto, Gene Silva, Anthony Hernandez, and Yang Sedong. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave your picks in the comments. Pick every fight. If you get them all right, I'll give you $100. Thank you so much for watching, support, and drop a like, comment, subscribe if you made it this far in the video. Thank you so much. Take care of your health, your family, and your friends. Peace and love, everybody.